Okay, I just need you to make sure that you are looking at chart A. We'll look at chart B here in a few moments, but chart A, and we're looking at the coefficient. If a coefficient is placed in front of the x, it causes the steepness or slope. And remember, the coefficient is the number that is in front of x. Coefficient is the number that is in front of x. And right here, when we look at y equals x, it's actually that understood 1. We don't write 1, but we know that our slope is equal to 1. How do we know it's our slope? Because when we write y equals mx, m, we have little mountains, little mountain ranges to help us remember. Mountains have slope, and that m represents slope. So it's all coming together, all tying together. The first example is our linear parent function, our y equals x. And this first column is our function. Second column asks you to sketch both parent function and given function on each coordinate plane. Since the first one is our parent function, we'll only have one line. Just keep that in mind, because all the other ones should have 2 lines. And then it'll ask what the value of m is. If it goes up or down from left to right, is the steepness more or less or the same as y equals x? And when x increases by 1, what happens to your y? We'll look at our graphing calculator with that. And the coordinates of the y-intercept. And the y-intercept, remember, the y-intercept is our b, also known as b, where it crosses the y-axis. And we can write that just so that we don't forget. Where the graph crosses the y-axis. Graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, so the first one, we know that if it's y equals x, I can plot a point right here at 10, 10, because I go over 10, up 10, I plot my point, 0, 0, and then at negative 10, negative 10. Why? Because I know x is equal to y. So if I do a little t-chart right here, I know that I'm going to have negative 10, because we've gone over this, 0, 0, and I'm going to have 10, 10. If I plot those 3 points, I have my y equals x. Okay, so that this graph is y equals x. That's what the line looks like when we graph it. And if we want to make sure that we see, that we understand that, if we go to our calculator and we type in y equals x into our y editor, our y equals button, and we hit graph. When we hit graph, that's what it looks like. And it doesn't look like our paper, and we can make it look like it if you hit zoom and we want to square the window. That just means that we want it to look like our paper that's right in front of us. And so it looks more like our handout. And is that value of m is 1, because that's the number right here in front. Also known as our slope. Does it go up or down from left to right? Up. And we watched another video because it says puff, puff, positive. Since it's going uphill, you know that it's going to go up, and it's positive slope from left to right. And is it the same as y equals mx, or I'm sorry, y equals x? Yes, because if our steepness is 1 right here, our steepness is 1 right here, then you know that they're the same. So we simply write the same. And when x increases by 1, what happens to our y's? So let's look at our table, because remember, in our y editor, we put y equals x. Now we want to look at the table. So we put second graph, And as our x's increase by 1, what's happening to our y's? They're increasing by 1 as well. They're increasing by 1 as well. So we put increase by 1, and that's where we get it. And the coordinate where it crosses the y-axis, it crosses the y-axis at 0, 0. So as we read the second column, the title of the second column, they want us to sketch both the parent function and the given. So let's go ahead and sketch the parent function. We know it's at 0, 0, 10, 10, and negative 10, negative 10. So we plot those 2 points. And then we're going to draw our straight line. Our red line represents y equals, so I'm just going to write this one as y equals. And now they want us to grab y equals negative x. So we can do xy right here. What happens if we put negative 10 for x when we substitute in negative 10? So we'll have y equals negative 10. What happens to our y? What does our y become? Positive 10. Okay. So we go negative 10, positive 10. If we substitute in 0 for x, what do we get for y? 0. So we know that one. What if we substitute in 10 for x? What do we get? We get negative 10. So we go over 10 and down 10. So now our blue line represents y equals negative x. We'll draw that and we'll label it as y equals negative x. Okay, so now it's asking what is the value of m? And so we look at the number right in front of x. We don't see a number, but it's an understood what? It's an understood 1 with what in front of the 1? A negative. So we put our m is equal to negative 1. M is equal to negative 1. Does it go up or down from left to right? Down, because it's a nice negative. It's a nice negative. So I'm going to put down for my answer. Is the steepness more, less, or the same? No, we're not. Right, it's the same. Did we ask for direction?